Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Justine DeJager, and I serve as the Treasurer on the FirstU Board of Directors. Normally, if you would like more information about FirstU, it would be available at the welcome table at the back of the pews. However, while the FirstU building is closed because of the COVID-19 virus, you may instead contact us through email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. I repeat, for more information, please email us at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. After the service and future services, our normal hospitality hour will be replaced by a virtual get-together. If you would like to join us for the hospitality hour on Zoom, please see our website, www.firstunitarianottawa.ca, or our weekly email newsletter, the EUU, for information on how to do so. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are a part of our spiritual community. Welcome. We hope you come back soon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Boulay, and I'm very happy to be your worship associate this morning. Although the doors to our building are closed to do our part in preventing the spread of COVID-19, we still are a vibrant community and congregation with open spirits, hearts, and minds. This morning, I welcome you to my backyard and into the homes of our board member, our music director, and our guest speaker. Thank you for welcoming us into your home. It is a beautiful thing to think that even though we are in separate places, protecting ourselves and others by staying away from a crowd, here we are together online, listening, connecting, and soon singing. I hope this moment finds you well. A few more announcements. While the building is closed, staff are working remotely and are monitoring emails during usual working hours. Phone calls will be checked less regularly, so please do email for a quicker response. As we won't be seeing one another in person, it is more important than ever to sign up to receive the weekly EUU, our weekly newsletter. Check our Facebook page and our webpage for notices and updates. Our online calendar is as full as ever. Today, we welcome our guest speaker, Jonnie Gall. Since joining First Unitarian 15 years ago as a member of the Mental Health Working Group, Jonnie has organized mental health awareness events and worship services, fundraised, and supported Ancora. For over 30 years, he's been active in the mental health field, including as a spiritual care volunteer at the Royal Ottawa Mental Health Centre. Living with chronic depression and family mental illness underlies his interest in this field. The spiritual dimension in mental health and illness has always interested Jonnie. Having been a tax inspector, environmentalist, healthcare administrator, yoga center cleaner, and now an ESL teacher, he still hasn't figured out what he wants to do with the rest of his life, but he has figured out today, and that's his enjoyment of gardening, singing, yoga, teaching ESL, and learning Korean. Jonnie, welcome, and thank you so much.
Greetings, I'm Jonnie Gall. Our opening words are by Jennifer Wellwood. Unconditional. Willing to experience aloneness, I discover connection everywhere. Turning to face my fear, I meet the warrior who lives within. Opening to my loss, I gain the embrace of the universe. Surrendering into emptiness, I find fullness without end. Each condition I flee from pursues me. Each condition I welcome transforms me and becomes itself transformed into its radiant jewel-like essence. I bow to the one who has made it so, who has crafted this master game. To play it is pure delight, to honor its form, true devotion.
Chalice, chalice, burning bright, help remind us with your light of how we'd like to live each day with love and truth helping lead the way.
This is a special story set in the current times of COVID-19. It's a story about loneliness, friendship, imagination, and self-acceptance. It takes place on a park bench near you. This is a story for all ages. Simon and Rosie by Lucy Moonen and Gillian Johnson. Once there was a bench named Simon. He lived under a tree in a corner of the park. He was a little bit shabby and a tiny bit shy. You could sit on him for free and watch the world go by. Every day people came with their squishy squashy bums, creaky cranky knees, and sticky outy tums. They came to chat and laugh and ponder and think, to break up, to make up, to eat and to drink. They came to get away or to spend time alone. They came with their friends or to talk on the phone. And not one of them noticed Simon. A pesky pigeon named Percy and his cooing gang were his only company. Until Rosie came. Was it the clink-clonk sound of her bicycle, the hoot-hoot of her bell, the tinkle-tinkle of her laugh? Rosie was funny. Rosie was clever. Best of all, she made him feel things. Each time she sang, "Upside down, count to three, Rosie and Simon, what can we be?" Simon felt alive and dazzling. He was not just a comfortable seat with 4 elegant feet. Instead, he was, wow, take off, an acrobatic airplane, an indomitable double-decker bus, oh, a plundering pirate ship. How can we be so many things together, Rosie? Simon wondered. Oh, that's easy, said Rosie. We've got magic. Oh, I can feel our magic, said Simon, but I wish I could see it. So Rosie gave him an eye. Simon took a blurry blink. Rosie, come along, we have to go. Rosie meant to draw 2 eyes with black pupils and colorful bits, flecks of light and eyelashes. Rosie, now. Oh, don't go yet, Rosie. Stay a bit longer, said Simon. Don't worry, Rosie whispered, giving him a gentle squeeze. I'll be back soon to draw your other eye. As Simon watched her cycle off, Percy landed and gave his eye a painful peck. Oh, you look ridiculous, he chortled. But Simon was proud of his one eye. Now I'll be able to see all the magic in the world. Magic is silly Billy, sang the pigeons high in the trees. Simon frowned. He tried to ignore Percy. He waited and waited for Rosie to return, but Rosie didn't come. No one came to chat and laugh and ponder and think, to break up, to make up, or to eat, or to drink. No one came to get away or to spend time alone. No one came with their friends or to talk on their phone. Where's your magic now? Teased Percy, flying close as he could and dropping some muck on his shiny wood. Simon kept his head down as winter turned to spring. Where was Rosie? Without her, he was just an ordinary park bench with a smudgy pencil eye. And then, one beautiful spring afternoon, Simon heard an almost forgotten sound. Clink, clonk, hoot, hoot. He opened his eye wide. Could it be? Tinkle, tinkle, it's me, she laughed. Upside down, count to 3, Rosie and Simon, what can we be? And just like that, they performed at a circus. He helped her escape from a witch's gingerbread house. They took tea with a bear in its cave. And as they played, Rosie's words were shining shapes and pictures and colors, filling Simon with joy. Now that you're here again, Simon said, I can see it all in front of me. Perfect and completely real. I don't need 2 eyes to see the magic. Then what shall we do with all these pencils? Rosie asked. And now Simon is Rosie's best friend, and together they have stories that sparkle.
service, when we are drawn closer to the heart of love at our center, and hold those near and far, loved ones and strangers, in our hearts. For those you are thinking of, for joys and concerns, a stone for Alex on the passing of his Aunt Lottie at the age of 97. Also for Alex on the passing of two dear friends, one here in Canada and one in South Africa. All will be missed dearly. And one last pebble to symbolize the joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts and minds. Let us share in a moment of stillness. Some words from the poet John O'Donoghue's poem, Morning Offering. May I have the courage today to live the life that I would love, to postpone my dream no longer, but do at last what I came here for, and waste my heart on fear no more.
Once there was a mullah who went to a large town to visit the marketplace. He was alarmed at the rows of beds that he found in the dormitory where he planned to stay. That night, as he sat on his bed, holding his head in his hands, one of those nearby asked him, "You look troubled, my friend. What's the matter?" "Alas," said the mullah, "I have never in my life been among so many people. I cannot sleep. If I were to wake, how would I find myself?" "Ah, that has an easy remedy," said the other. "Simply tie a string to your toe. In the morning, look around and find the toe with a string on it. That will be you." "Oh, a brilliant strategy," exclaimed the mullah. So he broke off a piece of string from his bundle and tied it around his toe. Secure in the knowledge of who it was who was in his bed, he lay down to sleep and was soon snoring among the multitude. No sooner was he soundly asleep, however, than the other man who had suggested the idea removed the string and tied it on the toe of a man sleeping in the next bed. Well, when he awoke, the mullah looked down and was aghast to find that there was no string on his toe where he expected it to be. Frantically, he looked around and at last saw the string on the toe of the man next to him. Reaching over, he shook the man awake and said, "It is clear from the string on your toe that you are me. Who then am I?" The answer, through others, we become ourselves, a phrase coined by psychologist Lev Vygotsky. Who I am only emerges in dialogue with you. This was the experience of Simon, the lonely park bench, who discovered himself through his friend Rosie. She made him feel things each time she sang. Simon felt alive and dazzling. Indeed, who then are you and I during this pandemic? How are we both doing? How's our well-being? I believe it's through deepening connections within ourselves and, most importantly, connections with others that we will be nourished and grow stronger. We become through others, and at the core of it all is loving kindness. Here we are, COVID-19. We're afraid of all the uncertainty. Many of our reassuring routines and daily rituals have disappeared or are drastically changed. For me, I've lost work, my yoga studio folded, and I no longer can watch the world go by at my favorite cafe. There's the fear of getting sick or infecting others. There's social exclusion and loneliness, practical uncertainties such as how will our kids be educated? How do we pay the rent and mortgage? Depression and loneliness increase my negative ruminations and sadness. The emotionless mask I wear, while necessary, also creates fearful stares as I dart around to keep 2 meters from you. And there's the mind-numbing statistics. All the deaths. We're more aware of our mortality. How do we find our way back to normal? And do we even want normal anymore, given how unsustainable our lives have become on this planet? We just don't know what to expect, and not knowing is scary. So how do we cope in these topsy-turvy times? Counselor Tanya Peterson shares that the components of mental well-being are within reach of everyone. Even someone struggling with a mental illness can achieve mental well-being. Well-being is being aware of one's weaknesses, but knowing that you're separate from them. Having a sense of one's community and beyond. A sense of purpose in one's life. Understanding ourselves as worthy beings. Nurturing healthy relationships and having determination and resilience. It's about developing skills and coping strategies, but it's not about having to do more. I feel unworthy because I'm not doing enough, so I withdraw and feel paralyzed. Even if I'm depressed and lonely, every little step that validates myself and connects me with you counts. If one day it's barely managing to enjoy a coffee and read a bit, then that's my step, or your step. And it's to be honored as much as the jogger who gets out in the morning and runs 10K, then has Zoom meetings all day. There are many resources on improving our mental well-being during COVID-19. Government and agency websites are rich with information and community supports. I won't be focusing on these resources here. Instead, I want to look at how we connect with ourselves and others in being well. Let's go inward to how we manifest well-being. Here we find our daily maintenance strategies, movement, music, opening the mind to our dark side, and mystery. Maintenance strategies are what we do daily to stay well. Good sleep hygiene, nutritious meals, and limiting our use of sugars and intoxicants. Stress busters such as humor, entertainment, and of course napping. Learning a new skill such as a language or musical instrument. Walking in the forest. Maintaining a work-life balance. Perhaps meditation. Always self-compassion. Tragically, daily maintenance for much of our world is ensuring there's enough food to stave off starvation and basic shelter to be safe and secure. Second, there's movement. Movement reduces negative ruminations. We exercise, stretch, do yoga, walk and run, bike, and sometimes just plain crawling out of bed in the morning. Maybe that's all you feel you can handle, and that's perfectly okay. Our third inner support is through music. Listening, playing, dancing and singing to music, being moved to tears and moments of exaltation. Leonard Cohen, Pachelbel's canon. It's also the silence between the notes. It's the clink-clonk sound of Rosie's bike, the hoot-hoot of her bell, the tinkle-tinkle of her laugh. Now, going deeper, we have time alone. It's a time to reflect on what Carl Jung calls the shadow self, where we store our unwanted thoughts, usually unconsciously. Some of these thoughts may be fear-based, injunctions from childhood, or shameful deeds from the past. We often project these repressed traits on others in the form of intolerance, withholding love, aggressiveness, backbiting. With more time for introspection, we have an opportunity to unveil our shadows, not in self-recrimination, but realizing that to have light, we also need to know our darkness. Putting light and dark back together reconnects the good and not so good into the circle. There's great healing in this. It's a noble thing to do for ourselves and others' well-being. And there's the mystery. Perhaps this is the realm of what Rosie calls magic, when she helps Simon to see with his one eye. Magic and miracles are part of mystery. This is the God light, where no words can be. You may find connection in prayer and calming rituals, chanting, or through peace and stillness, the still point. It's in the small flowers and big trees we see on our daily walks. It's in the wisdom of the old people and the gee-whiz innocence of the 3-year-old. Mystery cradles our fragility. Now, let's extend outward, where connection brings you and me close together. Well-being is built on everyday kindness, empathy, and compassion. It's through you that I become fully alive and thrive. We're all vulnerable to COVID-19, so we all occupy common ground. I don't have to feel lesser than you. When it comes to mental illness, there can also be less self-stigma and stigma from others. You might even understand my moods and anxieties more easily because you are experiencing these feelings too. Zooming or Skyping brings us into the same space of equals. For those living with depression or anxiety, online can be a safe place to reach out. For family and friends unable to reunite, it's a lifeline. But my eye contact is only this pinhole camera lens on my laptop. Loneliness easily creeps back in. Kindness. I believe that reciprocal kindness, loving kindness, leads us to the core of our well-being, especially during this pandemic. Indeed, it's the foundation of empathy and compassion. Kindness is being generous and considerate with gentleness, warmth, and concern for one another. It's the gateway to empathy, that ability to take the perspective and feel the emotions of another person, often leading to compassion, where empathy extends to include caring for and helping others. Best of all, Rosie made him feel things each time she sang. Simon felt alive and dazzling. And Rosie gave Simon his one eye with kindness and compassion. Being kind releases social hormones like oxytocin and endorphins. This is hardwired. It's part of survival within our tribe. But our tribe isn't what it used to be. We have to find new ways to connect, and we are. We feel good when we're kind to another person, and it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It's sharing thank yous. You're welcome. Please. May I? This may sound a little saccharine, but I find it works if done sincerely. This is one of the gifts of the pandemic, refocusing our lens on what really matters, what's really important in life, with grace and gratitude. These small acts of kindness truly matter now more than ever. Here, I'll make you a cup of coffee. My turn to do the dishes. I think I'll text Michelle to say, thinking of you. Even putting on your face mask is a gesture of kindness towards me. It takes courage to be kind, moving outside our comfort zone. Many days I barely managed to reach out to you, But on other days, I'm too scared and can't even do this. The trickle-down effect of an act of kindness may save a person's life. One precious life saved among the 3,800 Canadians who in 2018-19 died because of self-harm. The energy released when one blessed drop of water falls in the lake reverberates to distant shores. Ripples of kindness coming home to nurture yours and my well-being. We only have to look in our own backyard for wonderful examples of kindness in action. We have Ankura with its 7 homes supporting 21 residents who live with a mental illness, and the 6 L'Arche residences that support folks with intellectual disabilities. Communities of residents and volunteers, all one. Kindness on a big scale can impact the well-being of thousands. Take, for example, the friendship benches of Zimbabwe, or grandma benches as they're called, where individuals benefit from the wisdom and love of trained grandmothers who sit and talk one-to-one on a park bench with anyone who's struggling with depression, anxiety, or trauma. Goodness knows Zimbabwe has had its share of misery. In a country where 1 in 4 suffer from depression, this service is a treasure and a lifesaver. And it's reciprocal in its giving and receiving. With the pandemic, now there's the online version of friendship benches. Remember the beautiful innocent magic of a child Rosie helping Simon feel alive and dazzling. We need more Rosies and grandmas on welcoming benches today to share their loving kindness in our world. Come, sit on a park bench with me, will you? Pema Chodron, American Buddhist nun, shares about Maitri, the Sanskrit word meaning loving kindness toward all beings. It's unlimited friendship toward ourselves, leading naturally to unlimited friendliness toward others. She says that Maitri also has the meaning of trusting oneself, trusting that we have what it takes to know ourselves thoroughly and completely, without feeling hopeless, without turning against ourselves because of what we see, our shadow self. Pema says, as our kindness for ourselves grows, so does our kindness for other people. And where do I meet you at the deepest level? Martin Buber calls it the between space. It's wordless, sacred, timeless space. He says, all real living is meeting. I become genuinely human with and through you. There is no I taken by itself. Buber says it's contained neither in one nor the other, nor in the sum of both of us. You are invited to meet me where I stand in open mutual reciprocity, just as I am, just as you are. It's the root of all well-being, this connection of connections, this space of loving kindness, this sacred space between I and thou. Well-being is a tapestry of interwoven threads, and many are often missing or tangled. It's embracing daily practices, music, movement, getting to know our shadow selves, and entering the mystery. It's opening to our God light in the interdependent web of all existence. It's loving kindness in action, connecting with our Unitarian principles, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and compassion in human relations. The journey to well-being is deeply personal. There's one thread that each of us holds to make it through our days, and your thread is unique to you as mine is to me. It gives our lives meaning and purpose. It's our lifeline to wellness. It's Simon and Rosie's magical friendship, the mullah's thread connecting him to his neighbor. It's what gets you up in the morning. It's my deep sense that everything's going to be all right, that you and I will get through this pandemic and the next one and whatever befalls us in between. This is resilience. In William Stafford's The Way It Is, he says, there's a thread you follow. It goes among things that change, but it doesn't change. While you hold it, you cannot get lost. You don't ever let go of the thread. Becoming well is a ceaseless becoming, especially during this pandemic. May I connect with myself and with you in loving kindness. May I know that through you and I, we become ourselves. As you become yourself through me, I become myself through you. This is the heart of well-being. This is the gateway to the dance. And who better to reflect this than Hafiz, the great 14th century Sufi mystic, in his poem, The God Who Only Knows 4 Words. Every child has known God, not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, not the God who ever does anything weird, but the God who only knows 4 words and keeps repeating them, saying, come, dance with me. Come, dance. Come, let us trip the light fantastic. Be well, be kind.
This is the time in our service when we usually accept the offering. You may go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how you might keep up with your pledge or to make a donation during these times. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another.
Days in darkness,
closing words by Richard Jefferies. It is eternity now. I am in the midst of it. It is about me in the sunshine. I am in it, as the butterfly in the light-laden air. Nothing has to come. It is now. Now is eternity. Now is immortal life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Quod vita spori de justitia, ternurimo, cielum patuum, sustenance, vievermos,
Go in peace, go in joy, go in love, and may all be well.